So the lunch had been placed on banana leaves, but I was not able to move because of the stiff neck. And suddenly Bhagwan walked inside and asked me, "Hey boy, why are you not eating?" And then our teacher tells Bhagwan, who was sitting by my side, "Bhagwan, he has stiff neck." He says, "Oh, because of stiff neck you are not eating." So he asked for a plate. He kept the leaf on the plate. You see, I will never forget that day, 17th August 1988, when I had to come back, leaving Puttaparthi, come back to go back to Chandigarh. Bhagwan had already told me that you go back to Chandigarh. So in the morning I wrote a letter to Bhagwan. Bhagwan called all of us for interview. He took my hands in his hand and asked me, "Boy, what will you do for me?" I said, "Anything, Bhagwan." And then his grip is firmer and he asked me, "Sure, promise, anything?" I said, "Yes, Bhagwan. Anything what you say, I'll do." He said, "All right, don't bring me bad name." That's all. If you are Sai student, you will be Sai student throughout the life. All I want from you in return is, don't bring bad name to Swami. And if you remain, he says, "I am not only your watchman, I am your catchman also. I catch you also." So he says, if you maintain purity, Swami is going to take care of everything. Whatever you are doing, whatever situation you are, Swami will take care of you. And that touch of Swami, those touching words of Swami, they are something which we can never forget. Once I came to Vrindavan, a few years after my having passed out from the MBA, and we were sitting inside Trai. Bhagwan was sitting on Chula. So he called me. He says, "Boy, how are you outside?" I said, "Bhagwan, you know everything. You know that I never commit any mistake." Then he points out to my wrist and he said, "Your time management is very bad." And he materialized a watch for me and gave it to me. He says, "Keep this watch. Swami will take care of you." He says, "Are you pure outside?" I said, "Swami, you are my watchman, you know everything." And then he again repeats, "No, I told you that I am your catchman also. I'll catch you. Whenever you do anything wrong, I'll catch you." And anybody who goes against Swami's ideals, anybody who touches prohibited things, will not be able to touch Puttaparthi. He says, "I have prepared you as my own children." That's why I say that you maintain purity and I will always be with you. So that relationship which Bhagwan has, started with us, I would say, not from this birth, I don't know from which birth. He is giving us full assurance all the time that this is the divine plan, this is the divine master plan of Sai, and in that master plan we may not fit anywhere, but master's will is something which is permeating all that we do. So that is how he is, I would say, each one of us for that matter. I remember a very simple incident. Once he pointed out to my arm. I had donated blood that day. So he asked me, "What happened?" I said, "Swami, I donated blood today." So he says, "Oh, very good. You must continue this." I have continued it every 3 months. Today, count wise it is 138. But what we have done is we have created a blood donation group. We are able to meet the requirement of blood for all needy persons in no time. I would say 40 minutes, 50 minutes is the outer limit which we have given to ourselves, within which time one of the donor goes and arranges blood for the patients. We have a helpline. That's a joy of different kind, because we all know scientifically blood donation doesn't cost anything. It's a natural process, otherwise the blood would decay. But the personal benefit which I have is, with His grace I have remained healthy. I have not fallen sick. My body always supports me, and there is a feeling in me that I should keep myself fit, so that I am ready for the next donation every 3rd month. So, it's that way. There is a joy, there is a bliss, and there is a gift of health. So, this is how Bhagwan is keeping his promises. Once Bhagwan has given the assurance that he takes care of everything, actually he takes care of everything. I would say that in my professional life, everything which perhaps ought to have come to a professional has come to me on its own. I have maintained one principle in legal practice, that I don't go and seek work. People come on my table and they engage me. I don't run after the clients. Like many lawyers, they have to have their contacts in the districts and all that to procure work. I don't have any such contacts. I have only one contact, that is with Bhagwan. And whenever I have to take a case, there is a big picture of Bhagwan in front of me. So I look at that picture and then accept the case. Otherwise I say, no sir, sorry, I don't think that your case I can fight. So many a times a situation has happened that out of very tough professional moments, Bhagwan has been guiding me all through. I remember when I finished my law MBA education here, Bhagwan told me that go and do law. I was not initially ready for it. I was very hesitant. So I told Bhagwan, then he tells me, what's the meaning of LLB? And he answers, LLB means live and love Baba. So if you live on my ideals, you love me. And in legal profession, who is the client? And he answers, client is God. So you are serving God, because when client is coming to you with a genuine situation where he has been victimized, because there are two types of clients, one who are victimized and others who inflict agony on others. So we can always distinguish who are the clients walking to you. So Bhagwan said that if you are serving a client, treating him as God, there is no reason why you should not love legal profession. And this happened 27 years ago, and I know today how significant this message of Bhagwan is. And I have found life really acquiring meaning when we do something. I know an incident that there was a widow who walked to my office and narrated to me that, sir, I lost my husband and my son in a road accident on a single day, and 18 days later my daughter was to get married. And they were all preparing for my daughter's marriage, and suddenly they were going in a car and the car met with an accident and they died. And she says, I have ever since then been in a lot of stress. My mother-in-law is now in litigation with me. My sister-in-law is now in litigation with me. So I have some blank signed sheets of my husband. So this property belonged to my husband. Now if somebody scribes a will on it, then this property will come to me and my daughter. Otherwise I'll have to share it with my mother-in-law, sister-in-law and all that. So the things will be very cumbersome for us. So she left those blank signed sheets with me. Whole night I kept on thinking, kept on looking at those sheets. And when she returned next morning, I told this lady, I said, sorry ma'am, I can't help you. You better hire somebody else, because I would not be able to use these sheets, misuse these sheets, because according to me, this amounts to cheating. I would not be able to do that. However, what I can do for you is, I will take these blank sheets to the court, tell the judge that look at these sheets, my client has not misused them. That way I can establish your truthfulness before the court. Rest we will see how the court helps us. Now, as it happened, she agreed with me and she says, okay, you go ahead and I would like to toe what you say. As I was fighting her case, her sister-in-law, she set up a will which according to us was a forged will. And she brought the will that in the meantime my mother-in-law has also died, and the property had been initially inherited by her, a portion of it through her husband and all that. So, one day the key witness to that will of sister-in-law was to be examined in the court. So, my client comes to me and tells me, sir, what will happen today? I said, whatever God wills, it will happen. As I entered the courtroom, I was startled to see the witness was none other than a very senior lawyer himself. He took me aside and said, he said, Mr. Vivek, I want to tell you truthfully that this will is false. Actually, the lady was already dead and we took her thumb impression after her death. So I told this gentleman, I said, sir, can you help? You state truth in the court. This gentleman goes to the court and states the truth. So the event which otherwise would not have happened in our favor, just because we struck to righteous method. Because Bhagwan has always been telling us means to end. So if our means are pure, obviously the end would be pleasant. So this is how he, gave us the conviction that this you do and I'll take care of it. So that, faith which he has instilled in us, that's the most loving aspect of everything. Because how I can say Bhagwan is compassionate, how I say Bhagwan is so loving, how I say Bhagwan is so caring. I don't know how many of us know this, that when we went to Uti in 1987, I developed stiff neck. So we had been invited, Bhagwan had been invited to some devotee's house and we were all to accompany him for the lunch. So the lunch had been placed on banana leaves, but I was not able to move because of the stiff neck. And suddenly Bhagwan walked inside and asked me, hey boy, why are you not eating? And then our teacher tells Bhagwan, who was sitting by my side, Bhagwan, he has stiff neck. He says, oh, because of stiff neck you are not eating. So he asked for a plate. He kept the leaf on the plate, brought it here and he started feeding me. He says, I'll take care of you. And at that time, the actual feeling was whether to allow Bhagwan to continue to feed me or to say, no, Bhagwan, I'll hold the plate like this and have it myself. And after a while I did that. I said, Bhagwan, I'll have like this, because Bhagwan was bending over me and making me eat. So it was very uncomfortable position for Bhagwan to bend and to continue to feed me. So, but that is only one assurance, that even slightest of your difficulties will be taken care of by me. And I have never felt that physically Bhagwan is not with us. Never felt. Any situation, all I do is that I pray, Bhagwan take care of me. I had a very tough situation in my life. My daughter was barely, I think, 4 years. She fell from the roof, second floor, some 20 feet. And at that time I was in the court. My wife was all alone. And suddenly this girl was looking down and she fell down. And my wife, she gave me a call in the court that my daughter has fallen down from the roof and I should immediately rush. So I was not able to drive my car from the court to my house. It's just 7-8 minutes distance were in the car. But I was all the time saying only one word, Sai Raksha, Sai Raksha. And when I reached my house, I saw my mother, my wife, holding my daughter in their lap. And the moment I reached there, they jumped into the car and I asked them where to go, because I was not able to think. And at that time, my daughter, she speaks out. She says, Papa, I am very fine. Nothing has happened to me. I don't have any pain. I don't want to go to a doctor. Those words were not uttered by my daughter. They were uttered by Bhagwan. A kind of reassurance that don't worry, everything is under control. I have taken care of the situation. And I knew that he will take care. So there were minor fractures in the temple region, etc. And she struggled with her studies thereafter. There were few of the problems. But all through Bhagwan was taking care of her. So while he was keeping me busy here in my profession, he never gave me a chance to think that back home there is something which is lacking. Just because maybe I am not fully concentrating on that, because his assurance is enough. And his assurance is that I will take care of everything.